to be working on making the brackets for this tape deck holder for the Journey cabinet. This is the one I made over a year ago. I took it out of my cabinet so that we can duplicate it. First thing I want to do is I want to cut this bottom plate. And the side, see how it's cut at an angle? We're going to cut it square first. We're going to make this bend, and then these two bends. Then we're going to come in and cut the angle. And then the bottom plate will be made, and then we got to make these two brackets, and then we got to make these so we can weld these on. Plexiglass showed up for the Pac-Man cabinet. I gave them the measurements. I ordered it on eBay. It's a light smoke plexi because we're going to put the artwork on the outside. They cut it perfect. I couldn't be happier. It literally dropped right in here. And this is 1/4 inch thick. So it's thick, barely flexes. So I wanted it to be nice and thick. So that worked out great. That's ready for artwork in a few days. Probably won't even put the artwork on until next week on that. So let's go ahead and figure out our measurements here. I have a piece of 16 gauge sheet metal sitting on the stand over here. So we're gonna make our cuts on that. It's just gonna be a rectangle cut at first, and then we're gonna go bend it on the bender outside. It's freezing outside, and you can see snow coming in under those doors. Once I get this first bay concrete done here in another month or two, and that back area, my bender will be in that back room, so I'll have heat. I won't have to be freezing out there anymore. But that's all right, it is what it is. Summer is almost here. It snowed today. It hasn't snowed next to nothing all winter, maybe 2 or 3 storms. It snowed today, probably about 3 inches of snow, but it keeps melting. It like snows for a little while, then melts, and then snows and melts, but whatever. It's warm in here, not so warm in the back. Okay, so let's take some measurements here, figure out what size we need to make this. Grab my tape measure. Once again, I'm making this for the guy who helped me with the Paperboy. Patrick is his name. He got me the control panel. I was willing to buy the control panel. It was a little messed up, but I couldn't find one anywhere else. I believe he got me a wiring harness, a power brick, which is in really rough shape right now, but we're gonna fix it up. And I think he gave me a bunch of measurements and stuff for what I needed. But he ended up printing the side art for my Paperboy, and he's going to mail it to me. He didn't want anything for it. He was just doing it to be nice. So he wanted me to give him the measurements for this. And I said, hey, why don't I just make this for you in exchange for the artwork? So he was grateful for that. I'm grateful for him doing the artwork. So it works out really well, I think. So let's take a measurement here. We're gonna go from the widest point. So up here, we are at 10 5/8. I'm gonna write on this Bondo board here because it doesn't really matter. So 10 5/8, and then we have our drop down on each side, which is 2 inches. So 4 inches. So we need to cut it 14 5/8 long by, actually, we got to make it bigger because we have to cut that for the flange. Okay, so by 6 3/4 plus 3/4, so that's 7.5 by 7.5 wide. So we're gonna go over to there. We'll just use this piece of angle iron right here. This will be a perfect straight edge. So we need 14 5/8 by 7.5. So we'll transfer that over to here. Good thing is we can use some of these factory edges. 14 5/8. What did I say? 7.5? Yep, 7.5. Then we can cut this square out. I don't have any fancy cutter or anything yet. Eventually I will get one. I do want to get a better metal brake too, because that's a Harbor Freight metal brake, and it really shouldn't be bending anything more than 18 gauge. And this is 16 gauge, so it's pretty hard to bend, but luckily it's not real big pieces. There's no way I could bend a 3-foot 16 gauge piece of metal on that bender. It can't handle it. I'm looking for maybe, I don't really want to buy a new bender because they literally are like $3,000–4,000 for one that'll bend 16 gauge. So I'm trying to find an old one, an old cast iron one or something that I can just clean up and restore and use that. I've seen some on Facebook. I'm trying to find one for like $400 or $500 that needs fixed up. I think that would be pretty cool to do. All right, I grabbed some goggles here. We're gonna cut this out and then we're gonna bend this and then we gotta cut those other pieces out. This should go pretty quick because I've already made one. So I'm gonna spin this way. We're just using an angle grinder with a cutoff wheel. Nothing fancy, just follow my line. Okay, here's our first piece. If the key to these cutoff wheels is don't push really hard. Just gently set it on the metal and let the wheel cut it. Don't go muscling it because what ends up happening is you just wear through the cutoff wheel really fast. Those are cheap cutoff wheels from Harbor Freight. I literally bought at least 100 of them. Sorry, I gotta clean my lens there. I bought at least 100 of them. They were on sale for like $5 or less than $5 for a 10 pack. So when they were on sale, I just bought a bunch of them. Okay, so now we know that our legs are gonna come down 2 inches. So we're coming down there and here. Now I'm gonna mark this on both sides because I need to know for when I bend it. So now we can go bend these two. Think how I want to do this. I'm trying to think here. I don't remember how I did it. I think I bent that and cut that afterwards. Okay, so if we bend these two right now, yeah, let's go bend these two. So let me get my coat on and get some light on over there. Okay, let's make these two bends. The other two bends we'll do on the vise in the shop because this can't do that part. Okay, there's our first bend. Now we need to do it one more time. This bender isn't super accurate, so I like to bend sometimes a little less than 90 degrees because it ends up being 90 degrees. Sometimes I bend too far and then it doesn't look right. Okay, that looks pretty good there. Let's go back in. I started picking up a ton of stuff for the shop. All those boxes over there, that whole huge pile of boxes is all the equipment that's gonna go in this first bay here. It's all a couple fireproof cabinets, toolboxes and all that stuff. Creeper, jack, everything I need to have in this first bay. I'm duplicating all my tools so that I can go from one bay to the other and not have to run over here to get parts or tools. Okay, so we got our first 2 bends made. So now we need to make our flange, which is 3/4 of an inch. Hopefully this is interesting to you guys. I did make a video a long time ago when I first started making videos doing this, but that was a long time ago and it's kind of buried in all my videos, so figured, you know what, why not just make another one real quick. If anybody needs these measurements, I can probably get them to you, or if you just follow along, you can go back and get the measurements that you need. Okay, so now we need to cut it here, here, and then we can bend those out, and then we need to cut this flange back afterwards. So we'll use this fancy straight edge we have here. I have a 4-foot and a 6-foot straight edge, but they're too long for this. I need a shorter one. Okay, so this is gonna get cut. This is gonna go away. But for right this second, we're just gonna cut these 2 corners. A lot of moving around, sorry guys. But let's get this corner cut. Now we got to use the vise to make these 2 bends. So we're going to do the exact same thing we did with the metal brake, line it up on our line, and then we got to bend it. And I'm going to have to tap it with a hammer. Okay, there's our first flange. Go on this side. Vise is crooked. I think my drill press is going to be in the way, but I can slide it over because it did not bolt that down. All right. See how when I bend it, it looks a little skew, a little crooked. Lightly tap it, that fixes that. All right, so now we have those 2 flanges. This we're getting rid of. This we're getting rid of. And then we need to mark our angle from here to down. And our leg down here is 3/4 of an inch. So we're gonna go from 3/4 of an inch to 2 inches. So we're gonna measure 3/4 of an inch. We're gonna go take our straight edge and butt it right in there. Go to there. After these 2 cuts are done, 3 cuts, this part is done other than drilling the holes to mount it. Then we got to make the other couple brackets. Okay, let's go over to the grinder again here. Let's make our angle cut. Bottom plate is made. We just need to clean up the edges, take off the burrs from cutting it. You can see how it's got these burrs, so we need to clean up the edges and just drill the 4 holes, and this bottom plate's done. So now we need to make these other plates. So now it's a little bit more tricky because we have several bends that we have to measure. Let's start with the bigger of the two. So we have a 5/8 flange. So we have 5/8 plus 5 3/4 plus 2 plus 5/8. So I need to add all those up. So 5/8 and 5/8, let's see here. That's 1 1/2 plus 7 3/4. So we have 7 3/4 plus 1 1/2. That leaves us with the length of, let's see here, 8 1/4, 9 1/4, 9 1/4. We need 2 of them that size. So we need 2 of them at 9 1/4. 4 inches wide, and then a 3-inch wide. Okay, I'm gonna go shut the camera for a minute. I need to check his measurements of his tape deck before I bend these, just to make sure that we're the same. Okay, I got his measurements. He sent them over to me in millimeters, which is, I think that's how he uses his computer program, which is fine, not a big deal. So he had a measurement of the height of the tape deck, 53 millimeters. 53 millimeters in inches is just over 2 inches. So we're gonna say 2 1/16 inches tall. So if I look at my bracket here, we are at 2 1/16 tall. So we're perfect height-wise. And then we have a length of 10 1/2 inches. His length was 265 millimeters. 265 millimeters is 10.43 inches. I'm gonna round it up to 10 1/2. It's okay if it's a little long. My tape deck's a little not as long as the bracket. And we are at, I wrote it down as 10.5, which is 10 1/2. We are at just under 10 3/4. So it's perfect lengthwise, is good. Now we have a width of, I put 5.6, so it's a hair over 5 1/2 inches. He had a millimeter of 142. So we're gonna say 9/16 wide to be on the safe side. 5 9/16, and we are at 5 5/8. So we are perfect. So if we duplicate these identically, his tape deck should fit in there, no problem. So we need to cut this piece and this piece now. Now we know that they are, from these bends, if you were to flatten that out to a flat piece of metal, it would be 9 1/4 inches long. All right, and then this is 4 inches and this one's 3 inches. So we need a 3-inch by 9 1/4, a 4-inch by 9 1/4. I am gonna double check this just to make sure, because I don't need to screw that up. And yeah, you know what? We're at 3/4 on the outside. I think I am gonna lengthen it a little bit more. So we're at 3/4 plus 5 3/4 equals 5 3/4, 6 1/2. So that's 6.5. And that takes me to here. And I know that this is 2 1/16. So we're at 8.5. We're just gonna do 8.5 for now. I'll add that little 16th after, plus 3/4. So we're at 9 1/4. Yeah, we're right. I'm right. We're at 9 1/4. We're good. Okay, so we need to make a 9 1/4 by 4 and a 9 1/4 by 3. These are cooled off now. I can throw them away. Forgot my little straight edge. 9 1/4. 9 1/4. 4-inch. We're just going to cut the 4-inch first, and then we'll make the 3-inch. Because if I mark them both on here, they might end up a little different in size because of the thickness of the cutoff wheel. But we can make our 9 1/4 line all the way across this way at least. I mean, it doesn't have to be exact. Okay, this is our 4-inch, and then we'll make a 3-inch next to it. And then we just need 2 more pieces cut out, which we'll cut those out now. Make a couple bends, and we'll be ready to drill some holes. And then I just gotta sand it down. I'm gonna spray some clear coat on it like I did mine. I need to measure over 3 inches. Okay, we're gonna let those cool off. Just let them hang out on the floor, that's fine. Last 2 pieces we need to make are these little tabs here that keep the tape deck from sliding out if the cabinets move. 2 inches by 2 inches. So just 2 inch by 2 inch squares. And then you see this didn't even take half of that sheet. Just come over here on this corner. Okay, we have all our pieces cut. Now we can go bend these 2 flat pieces. I'm gonna go over here and mark them first. Trying to just keep the camera rolling. Give you guys an idea how long it takes to get this done. Okay, now these are both going to be identical. I have to think which way I'm going to bend this. So I'm going to put this in the bender this way first. Yeah, we're going to have to just do that and bend first. That's going to come upwards. Paper here. 5 1/2, 3/4. We know that this is 3/4, and we know that this is 2 1/16. Okay, let's go over to the bender again. I'm gonna pause it while I walk over there. Okay, let's get these bent. Okay, so now we have to measure over 5 1/2. From the outside. Okay, now this bend needs to go downwards. So I need to mark this on the other side. Okay. Now we're gonna come down 2 1/16 on the inside. Okay. Now this one needs to be bent upwards. Okay, there we go. That's what it looks like. I'm just going to use this as my template. So I'm going to hold this right against the side here. Okay, this needs to be marked on the other side. You can hear the wind out there. It is windy. Okay. There we go. So now we have both of these. Pretty much matched perfectly. So, all right, let me clean up my stuff back here, turn the camera off for a minute, walk back up front, and we are gonna start cleaning the edges and do a few other things. Okay, I'm gonna change out my cutoff wheel for a flap disc so that we can get rid of those burrs on the edge. Then it's all we have to do is drill some holes and weld on those stopping plates, and that's pretty much it, other than me just sanding it down and painting it. And why doesn't this want to go tight? There we go. Okay. A lot of people time lapse, you know, they speed up their their videos to make the video not as long. Me personally, I don't really care for that. I would rather see the video go a little longer just to get an idea how long something takes, you know what I mean? We don't have much time into this. We've pretty much cut, we got everything cut. I need to make a little square cutout on that for the play button, which I'm not sure is going to be in the right location for his or not, but we're going to make it in the same spot I have it in. 1.25 to 2.25 inches. One inch down. So we need to cut this out and deburr this. And then at that point, we're gonna drill the holes and we're just about done. And then I'll sand it with the DA, and then I'm just gonna spray it with some spray can clear, like I did mine. I'm not gonna show that part, obviously. It's not a real big deal. I probably won't spray paint it tonight because I have those cabinets in the spray booth, so we'll just get it made. So that just needs to be clear coated. So we're gonna stick our cutoff wheel back on here so we can make this cut. Now, honestly, I forget how I cut that way. I think, I'm trying to remember how I did that. Maybe I used my air saw. Grab my air saw real quick. You know what, I'm gonna cut it first a little bit with the grinder. You know what, I don't need to use my air saw. Just bend them back and forth. Beautiful. Now, use my deburring bit. Okay. Switch back to the flap disc. Okay, now we gotta mark our holes to drill. Be nice if I could drill most of this stuff on the drill press. Okay, these ones came in a 1/2 inch. hopefully you guys like this stuff. A little different than what I'm usually doing on here. Okay, so those are all marked. We gotta mark this. This one I'm gonna eyeball it because I can see the other one. So I pretty much know where it's at. Okay. These holes right here we can't drill yet. And then we need to drill some spot welds here. For these, we need to drill holes so we can make some spot welds. This is 2 inches, so we're gonna go 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, one in the middle. These don't have to be perfect. So we'll just duplicate it on top of this one. Okay, so let's drill some holes here. Let's see what size bit I want to use. The holes that I'm going to put in this bottom plate here are going to be smaller than the top ones because these are self-tapping screws. So I'm going to leave the holes a little small for him so he can be able to drive the self-tapper in, and it'll tighten up on the metal. Other worst case scenario, you'd have to use a nut and bolt. So here, small. Okay, 3/16 is what I used. I think I remember that, believe it or not. Yep. Okay. So 3/16 is what I used. My water bottle out of here. Let's take the tripod up a little bit. Turn our light on. You know what I like about this drill press is I didn't want a big one because I don't do big projects that I need a big drill press. So I was looking for something small. And I'll show you here in a second once I get done fighting with this bit. What I like about this is it has a laser and it has a nice cross pattern and it lines up perfectly to what you mark. Just like that. I'm at to drill these at a slight angle because the plate. Hopefully I can drill this. You know what? I'm gonna have to raise up that table. I gotta clean this counter off, it's a mess. Okay. Let's drill these ones first. We'll have to deburr it afterwards. These ones I might have to do with a drill, hand drill. It's not gonna, it'll be all right if it's at a slight angle. Drill these little plates real quick. I knew that was going to happen. Should have clamped it. That's all right. All right, let's keep going here. I'm gonna have to clamp the other one afterwards. Okay. Yep, this one I'm not gonna be able to do on here. I'm gonna have to use a regular drill for that. All right, let me grab a regular drill. Okay, let's get these drilled with the regular drill. I have to drill them for this side. All right. Okay, that's done. Put my drill bit away. Now we're gonna go deburr these holes. And still need to drill some other holes, but we can do that afterwards. system. I have a metal plate. I left it in the vise. Okay, I'm going to sand all these parts down and then we're going to weld those tabs on. Let me go grab a sander. There's a piece of 180 grit on here, it's slightly used. The reason why I'm sanding these is so that the clear coat will stick to it. Okay, that's done. Now we need to weld on these tabs, which are 2 3/8 from the outer edge. Come down 3/4 of an inch. After that, we got 4 more holes to drill, and other than me clear coating it, I'm done with it. So let's go weld these tabs on. I'm just gonna do it on the floor right here because I don't feel like dragging a welder around the 59 Impala. Got the gas turned on, turn the welder on. guys. My dial got moved on me. Alright, I'm going to hit that with a wire wheel, and then we'll sand it real quick, drill our last 4 holes, and this project is done. Gotta get off the floor still. Alright, let me clean this up real quick. Just want to clean off this dirtiness from the welder. Okay, now we just need to drill the holes for the brackets. Small one goes over here. Large one goes over here. Up. All right, I'm gonna go sand this top edge one more time real quick, and then we'll wrap it up. Okay, there it is, guys. So this goes right here. I gotta sand off that marker. That goes right there. This goes right here. These flanges screw to the cabinet along with those flanges down there, and then self-tapping screws go into these holes. So that's gonna end this one, guys. I gotta couple little burrs I need to clean up and stuff, so I'm just gonna do that off camera. All right, guys, that's just how I make these brackets for Journey tape decks. If you guys are liking what you're seeing, please like, subscribe, share, hit the thumbs up button. I'd really appreciate it. Other than that, I will see you guys later.